Namaste. I'm Patty Markhamson. You are listening to Light, Laughter, and Latte, and I welcome you here today. We are streaming on Oneness Talk Radio, YouTube, Oneness Talk Radio, book, and there will be recordings on Apple, Spotify, and others. Today, my talk is about anxiety, solving anxiety, to clear joy, for when we clear out old patterns that are no longer working, or highest, I would say, then we can make room for greater joy. And so today, I'm sitting in front of a beautiful piece of art created by my daughter's Studio Farron on Instagram and Facebook. This is a full moon. We're going into a full moon on the 27th, this illuminated full moon. So we're in a powerful week, and it's the perfect time for us to look at, where do I feel anxious, and what are some tools, techniques that I can use to help me with that. For it does seem like anxiety is quite prevalent on our planet at this time, doesn't it? And I myself have personal belief why that is. I believe there's many aspects to it. And that's what I want to take this time to help dissect a little bit and go through the different chakras, energy bodies of what's going on with the anxiety, and ways then to diminish, unwind it, dissolve it. And I'm going to start with a personal experience of my own. You know, I've been a holistic healer for 22, 3, 4 years, something like that. Prior to that, I was in the medical field. And I've been a medical intuitive quantum healer, transformational coach in the last decade. And in the past, I would have clients come to me with anxiety and depression, and I had tools to assist them, yet I couldn't really understand what they were feeling until I walked through it. I had situational depression after I had gone through the trauma of my husband dying young, yet I really didn't understand when clients were struggling with anxiety. And so, as it is, many healers and spiritual teachers have walked through a lot of challenges in their lives to gain the gifts of who we really are. And we've also then understand our clients and those that we mentor so much more. And this is where I want to start, is saying, you know, not only have I assisted others as a medical intuitive holistic healer, I've walked through anxiety and I've resolved it. And so if there's anybody out there that is wondering if this pattern or this habit, sometimes it becomes almost a habit of the energy, certain parts of the body, mind, can be resolved, I want to offer you great hope. Yes, yes. And I even believe in today's energy, it can be quicker than perhaps some time before. And so that's number one. Let's believe. How about if we put our hand to our heart, take in a deep conscious breath. And I'd love to encourage you to bring that all the way down to the stomach. That's where we often feel that anxiety. Wrap it around the stomach, your breath, and breathe it out the heart. For when you put a hand on the heart, you connect with the body, that it can relax, that you're here. You're also stimulating a parasympathetic nervous system connection, which is the calming system. Your heart is a portal. It's got a brain. It's greater than the mind. Yet our mind likes to believe that it is the ruler. Well, we just have to help it to learn to relax. So connecting with our heart, if you start feeling anxious, that I encourage to be the first thing you do. Hand to heart, taking a deep conscious breath. I like to encourage breathing in crystalline breath. What if, as Archangel Zadkiel says, each breath is God loving us? Take in a deep breath In through the nose with the mouth closed. Wrap it around the tummy and then breathe out the heart center through the mouth. And the longer you take that exhale, the more you're going to activate that parasympathetic calming system. I believe it connects with the vagus nerve. Deep breath in, long, slow exhale. Longer exhale. That in itself will help stimulate a calming connection. So, what I was going to share was back a few years, about 6 years ago, I moved to a new town. I really didn't know much of anybody there besides one family member, and I wanted to try something new. And it was during that time that a lot was happening. I had was able to go to India and receive some up level energy. And sometimes as our body integrates that, it can higher energies, we can stimulate some old memories, or the body can freak in different ways. And so that was one piece, but I didn't know it at the time. So I come back from India, I'm home, and it was New Year's Eve. There's a lot of energy on New Year's Eve, and the new year was coming in with its own energy. And I had my first full-blown panic attack. That was quite frightening. I had really no idea what it was or what was contributing to that. So for me, it was the next many months of unraveling what was going on with me. And for me, I addressed it on each one of those levels. I knew priority was our outermost energy body, which is our spiritual energy body. Then underneath is our mental energy body, where we hold all these beliefs. So many of our beliefs are unconscious. Then we have our emotional energy body. We have an emotion, there's a thought or belief that's tied to it. And it's the bridge between the mental, and then we have and the bottom is the physical body. So when we heal on that outermost spiritual, you heal the energy bodies all the way down to the physical. Instead of just chasing something on this physical level, we're addressing all of these. And that's where I want to go. We don't want to deny our emotions, but they're not who we are. They're just emotions. And if we can be safe to be with them, because sometimes in anxiety, we don't even know what we're feeling. The body's, we're trying to run from it. We feel like there's something wrong with me. And I know this. I was, in the medical field. So as soon as I started having this, the first theme or life script that came up was there's something wrong with me and I need to run from it. I need to fix it immediately, medicate it. What if, first of all, we can just start to sit with it? I thankfully had a therapist friend who would help me with that. I could call her and we could just start to sit and breathe and notice the sensations in the body. So that is one thing to just pay attention to. I'm going to bring up these points and notice what comes up for you. And maybe make a note and reflect on that later, or take part in what um, you'd like to know more about. You can always contact me. My information will be either below this or above it, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, and connect with me. And as a medical intuitive, I can assist you even deeper with this. So the first thing is I started to work, with how can I start calming myself? And I knew to go to meditation classes because I always felt better if I was in a room with others doing that, not just alone. That was part of my issue later, realizing I was feeling lonely. I was feeling isolated. How many people are going through that right now? I did that. I found yoga classes, the mind body breath connection, going to yoga with many others. I remember laying there, my heart's pounding, and yet I knew this was what I needed to be doing to settle into my body while I unearthed what was coming up in my life at that time that was stimulating this. I also chose to work with a healer and my mentor. I was able to have sessions there. And what I we discovered in time was that the new energies coming in were stimulating me a memory of a past life. So know that sometimes that may be going on with you, that this is beyond just right now and that we're not judging ourselves, that there's a memory so ancient that's wanting to come up to just be recognized, to loved, and to be reminded right now I'm safe. I am safe. We keep saying that. If you feel the anxious moments, body, take a breath. In this moment, I am safe. Now, if you're in an abusive relationship or in a place that's not safe, then that needs to be dealt with. That's priority. I'm speaking for myself, and many of my clients are in a safe space. We're working in my office, and we can start reminding that body, telling the cells in this moment, for that ego part of us needs to learn to relax, to trust the soul to come forward. And so during that time, then I started to find where I had old beliefs that were coming forward that were not serving me, and they were ready to be looked at. And then I had a choice: is am I going to allow this to continue? Such as, I'm not good enough. Take a drink of water. It's not something that might resolve overnight. That was part of what I wanted. I had another health situation going that was contributing to me feeling nervous, and I wanted everything fixed immediately. And so that's another reminder. Let's be patient and loving. And for healing is a call to consciousness. Healing is coming into greater restoration and harmony. It may not mean that our symptom goes away immediately. How do we bring in greater restoration, harmony, connection? So, what I noticed on the days I started to feel more anxious, that there had been a thought or a belief operating where I was judging myself. So, sit with that for a moment. If we can slow down and be present when we start to feel that anxiousness, notice, what were you just thinking? Where was your mind? Were we so much here focused on, oh, I just did something, I can't do this? Oh, okay. Let's be with that. Stop, acknowledge. Where's the feeling? Is there a feeling there I need to be with? And then expand out to the soul self. I am a divine being having a human experience. In this moment, I am safe. In this moment, I can trust myself. So, number one is always breath. That's the connection of the body with the spirit. There are so many resources around breath out there. And I know I would look for those when I was going through that, to find perhaps a guided meditation to walk me through, to feel like I wasn't so alone. I was also suffering from insomnia at the time. And so, middle of the night, and you start feeling anxious and you're feeling so alone, I found on YouTube some guided visualizations, meditations, to help me feel, connect with the breath, to calm myself in that moment. So I want to just interject here that I've created some of those on YouTube. Patty Peterson on YouTube, and there's many there that can help you. There, many of them are not long, and taking you through the chakras to align. And if we have time during the session today, I want to finish with that. I always feel more balanced when we do that. My clients do also. And it's bringing in more of that soul energy to align with the body, to lift, to raise our consciousness. When we have a symptom, it's a call to consciousness. Pain, emotional pain, is a call to consciousness. So look for those videos, have tools and resources, collect and create. That's the word I'm looking for. Create your toolkit. I encourage people to do this. I did this. When you're feeling anxious and you can't think what to do, I had a list. Number one is that breath, hand to heart. In this moment, I'm safe. I trust my soul. Even if you're not fully believing it in the moment, start there. Slow out breath. Start with that. Another beautiful practice because of the energies we're in. There's an opportunity now to raise our level of consciousness, carry a higher vibration in body than ever before. And in that, some of the body may start to freak out a little bit. Our egos freak out big time. And so the more that we can get clear that whose energy am I carrying? Maybe I'm carrying other people's energy and this anxiety isn't even all mine. So I encourage you to learn the container practice, the divine container. And this is where we clear other people's energy. That can be found at shriandkira.com under the practices, the divine container. I've taught this to hundreds of people over the years, and everybody that uses it feels a difference. We need to keep transmuting the negative energies we carry, the lower frequency, coarser energies, and transmuting them, recycling them into higher states of consciousness. So that's what the divine container does. That's another first step whenever we're feeling an imbalance. And then, are we ready to say enough is enough? I'm ready to look at this. I'm ready to let this pattern go and be honest with ourselves, to feel safe enough to look what's there. And that's where those life scripts, that emotional body may be carrying the belief, mental body too, of I did something wrong. I'm not good enough. I don't fit in. And when we can start to identify those, we can say, that's not who I really am. That's a belief taken on with this body of form, but it's not the divine being I am. And when we recognize that, what can we do then to help release that? Now, sometimes just awareness to it, go, oh, that's that old pattern. That's not true. Okay, I know, something that helps you lift into who you really are, that higher state of being, which might be going in nature, the yoga, music, dance, calling a supportive high vibe friend. Um, any of that, it gets easier and quicker as we work through and release the roots. Another practice to get at those root beliefs is called the circle of protection. Last week on this light, laughter, and lattes, Jerry and I did that with the audience, and it's still there from last week at the end of our show. We walked you through this circle of protection, circle of strength. It's an inner child guided healing visualization that is very, very powerful. And I do this with all my clients. I've done it a lot myself because we've all taken on experiences. We've gone through experiences where we've taken on a belief around one of those life scripts. Perhaps it was a teacher that said something, a coach, a parent, no judgment on any of them, but we heard that as a child and we took it on. I'm not safe. I'm not being heard. My needs aren't being understood, whatever that may be. And the more that we find that aspect in us that's operating when we're having anxiety and bring love and light to it, it dissolves. This higher level of conscious, loving attention dissolves. That's a dissolving those roots. And then we get, heal all those pieces. And then that inner child within us is exuberant, creative, in the present moment as children are, curious, being so in that moment, we're not worried about the future and we're not thinking about the past. Both of those contribute to anxious thoughts. And under anxiety, what I always notice for me, as I mentioned earlier, and reiterating, is there's a split between who I really am, the spirit self, divine being, authentic, true self, whatever word works for you there, and then the egoic part, personality self, mind self. There's a split. When I started to feel an anxiousness in my tummy or somewhere, I stopped, goes, what was the belief there? There, there was usually a split between. It was one of those old scripts operating that wasn't the truth of my soul. Or judgment, which again isn't of the soul, the true self. And so that split, the more we catch that in the moment, bring light and consciousness to it, we can dissolve these roots. And, you know, each one of us that heals this within us and raises our level of consciousness sends out a signal to the beyond, way beyond. And that is a gift to all. We permeate that state of presence as we heal the roots of what's running this anxiety. Now, on this physical level, what I also noticed back then was where was I putting my attention? If I followed the news or things happening on social media, that would stimulate some of these uncomfortable and anxious feelings. So to get really honest and say, where am I putting my attention? What am I listening to? Social media can often trigger some of that. I know many people give it up because of noticing what it brings up in them. And what I noticed at that time is I would look at social media and I'd say, everybody else looks so happy and peaceful, and here I am suffering over here. And now there's a couple pieces to that, right? Number one, we mostly what's posted is our bestest of our best, and we don't know what else going on in anybody's world. And number two, I was judging and comparing myself. And number three, I was probably very much in the victim. Here I am over here suffering. And we've talked a little bit about that victim triangle in some of the past shows, and I'm sure we will talk some more in the future. But the victim, rescuer, and abuser is one energy that we can do within ourselves, and also play all these roles in our families of origin. Most of us had to come through this until we wake up to it and lift out of it. Again, you can find a lot more about that with my mentors, shriandkira.com on YouTube, and learn deeper about the victim triangle. So the more that we recognize, oh, am I sliding into being in the victim role? That can also be feeding these anxious feelings because you're not feeling safe. Anxiousness is all about, I'm not trusting me. So as I was saying before, right, the mind's personality, ego self, and the soul are split. They're not in alignment. It means I'm not trusting the soul self. I'm not trusting who I really am in this body of form, this infinite being here to be our unique, divine imprint. So recognize that. I'm feeling anxious. Where do I not feel safe being me? It's a beautiful journaling experience. And that's where it ties in also to the inner child circle of protection practice that I have on YouTube and we did last week. And so, how do we then offer that reassurance where we're not feeling safe? Okay. So recognizing when these life scripts are running, recognizing when we're falling into the victim triangle. And that's partly what I was doing too. And I was needing to rescue and fix it right away instead of being able to just be with some of the emotions. Fix it. And then we abuse by judging ourselves. So many little pieces there we can look at. Then also on that physical level, I do want to mention that as a medical intuitive holistic healer, there are steps we need to do to support the body. And in today's world, especially here in the United States where I live, we're all being bombarded with toxins. I used to do systems, field control therapy, um, I'm trying to remember some of those so many years ago, electrodermal screening, Neuralink. And I would test people's body, what toxins were in their body. And the amount of heavy metals in our environment that we are getting, whether it's from the soils, the pesticides and herbicides carry heavy metals. It can be coming from, the in our teeth. They can be in the chemtrails. There's so many different ways. That's, research however you want to look at that. But I believe that we all need to be addressing these in our bodies to cleanse our body of these toxins. Common ones are heavy metals, and then herbicides and pesticides, different chemicals like that. We can even be getting from our, hair products, skin products. If they're not pure, you're absorbing this. Guess where it goes? It'll go in areas of your body that might be a little compromised. It can settle on your central nervous system. I see this happening where the nerves of your brain and all these nerves through the spine, the heavy metals are there and they're irritating, irritating, irritating. So there's many ways that we can help pull those heavy metals out of our body. Our creator put beautiful plants on this planet for us to heal. Vegetables, fruits, things like cilantro helps pull it out. Hawaiian spirulina, Atlantic dulse, wild blueberries, bananas. One source that I, found a lot of people like and can relate to is the medical medium. And there's smoothies. I do smoothies every day with some of those foods to keep pulling out these heavy metals and other toxins. I used to do homeopathy. There's very specific systems where you can identify the heavy metals to pull them gently out of the body. If you want to know more about that, you can contact me. There's certain herbs, again, our creator put these beautiful sources on our planet for us. So that's one thing to address. Okay, maybe I am, if you haven't yet, toxins. Doing gentle fasting with fruit juices or vegetable juices, eventually working up to just a water fast. Taking half a lemon, and squeezing it into 16 ounces of pure water first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. It's a beautiful way to flush the system of toxins that have come forward while you sleep. And don't eat for half hour, 45 minutes, anything after that. Then if you follow that with that heavy metal smoothie, detox smoothie, your body will love it. So how can we cleanse this body of what we've taken on in this world, where it's currently at now? Staying away from certain foods that stimulate the nervous system or add more toxins to the body. Eating more pure, live, high vibe foods. That's your bright greens, all these fresh vegetables grown organically. So with that, it also brings up another area I see a huge issue on the planet right now, or at least in my clients and where I go, and that is our gut health. And it ties to that. These toxins have held in our gut, and we've been eating too many packaged foods and sugars and things that aren't healthy, and the lining of our gut is compromised. We've had antibiotics, vaccines, all these pesticides, herbicides, and this beautiful lining that had a perfect balance is out of balance. And that in lining of that gut is where we carry much of our immune system and the chemicals, neurotransmitters in our brain, serotonin, the happy molecules. So that needs to be addressed. Gut health, heal the microbiome, check that out, is also something that I've seen make dramatic improvement in people's lives. Now we can look at that gut on other levels because it's on those energy bodies and the chakras. It's all about the trust. So everything is intertwined, everything is related, connected, interwoven. So as we're taking more time to trust ourselves, you're helping that gut energy. And then on the physical, you're pulling out these heavy metals. You might have some old emotions move out. You could have old beliefs come forward. Everything is intertwined, and our cells are holding all of that. Notice what you're eating. Be conscious of it. Sit with it. Bless it. Give it a high vibe. Are we eating too many stimulants, sugars, refined sugars, caffeine? we have a lot of beautiful coffee shops, and are we addicted to caffeine? And that can contribute to feeling to the nervous system irritable, irritated. And so what ways can we start nourishing? Looking at more gentle teas, calming teas. I drink a lot of chamomile, tulsi, holy basil, and take those teas and drink that if you're feeling anxious. Just lemon water with ginger, things like, that are cleansing, very restorative. Also, our sleep. Our sleep is very interrupted with a lot of electronics and blue lights. And I have a whole video on sleep you can look at on YouTube. But the more we get a deep, restful sleep, your nervous system can be more calm to face the day, to restore the body. You might want to check out auraenergyshield.com, Aura, A-U-R-A, Energy Shield. They have hats and scarves to protect from the electromagnetics, and I sleep with that little cap on to help protect. Turn off the Wi-Fi at night and have a nice setting, but get a deep sleep to help that physical body to restore, so we're not so anxious in the day-to-day environment that we're coming into. So that's a lot, some tips on our physical body, starting with the breath, which intertwines with all of the energy bodies, and the yoga, and what brings you joy. Are you aware of what brings you joy? Make a list. I remember when I was working with my mentor years ago, that was one of the first things we did in coaching training. And I have all my clients, let's get clear. What brings you joy? Now, this is not just emotional joy. This is soul joy, which is a sense of peace that no matter what's going on in my environment, I feel the sense of who I am, upliftment, love, connection. Make your list. Yes, put on there things that make you happy and things that maybe bring you peace. The more we focus on filling our cup with that, we can start settling that mind and the old scripts that are that are running underneath. Let them come up, acknowledge them, recognize the emotion. What's the belief? Give it some love and ask, is this what I want to keep operating with? Are you ready to let it go? There's a healing technique called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. A ton of teachers have taught this over the last decades. I've studied with several of them. And there's many ways you can do it. Just know that you really can't do it wrong. You can even be tapping these meridian points and just venting and you're bringing a balance. They're acupressure points that relate to organs and emotions, and you can settle the body with that. I did a lot of EFT when I was healing through my anxiety, getting at the roots, especially when we bring forward, if we've had a traumatic event, often we'll have anxiety as, form of PTSD, right? And so you can do EFT around the visions of those events to simmer down what's being held in the body. Those of us that are Avesa Medical Intuitive Healers, we do a form of trauma EFT, consciousness trauma EFT, that is very powerful. I see this shift people dramatically. And with that, we call on higher healing resources, along with an expanded EFT, emotional freedom technique tapping, and then we end it with a forgiveness. So if you would like to know more about that, please contact me or another one of the Avesa healers that are doing the Oneness Talk radio shows. Follow my links here with this broadcast. I found it extremely beneficial for traumas, PTSD, old wounds that we carry, and see it create great shift in a short period of time. So I did a lot of that EFT. Remember, we can't solve problems from the same level of consciousness that created them. All of these pieces that I'm talking about as far as healing consciousness is bringing in this higher state to have a different consciousness, to heal, to change the pattern. That's Einstein. No problem can be solved from the same consciousness that created it. That's what we're doing here for the highest good of all as we do it. We open our minds, lift into a higher consciousness, expand our vision, and start to recognize that these old fears and limiting beliefs are not who we are, that we can walk through these fears. It's here to assist us to the greater consciousness. Can we believe that? Assisting us when that fear comes up. Oh, just another tool. It's not who I am. For you are a master in form. Let's see if there's other healing techniques that we can bring forward here. What comes forward for me is, are we becoming aware of what an unmet need may be operating when we're having this anxious or anxiety feeling? Has there been certain themes going on in our life with certain people, repetitive patterns? Stop and ask yourself, is there an unmet need in this theme? Sometimes it's respect, sometimes to be heard, acknowledgement, approval, acceptance. Did I say that? Safety. Identify what unmet need is going on. And that's where that inner child practice helps too. An unmet need. How can I resource this for myself? There's a practice we use with that when we identify it and we say, get into clarity that, well, there's another way. If I'm not feeling safe, then we go into the spiritual practices of finding that safe space. Or if it's about respect, are we offering respect to ourselves? So always giving back to ourselves what it is we're looking for outside of us and being really honest there. And sometimes, yes, we need to speak up and ask for that. However, here's, if you can think of one of your unmet needs and then call that forward. And then we say, if we're feeling triggered with somebody else and feeling anxious, we can say to ourselves, I realize I was hurt by our interaction and I was blaming you for my pain. I'm blaming you for my anxiousness, my anxiety. I now realize that what I was needing was blank, to be heard. I was needing was to be respected. And I wanted you to give that to me. I now know that I can give this to myself. And I now release you from having any responsibility for fulfilling my needs. And then we go, I unconditionally forgive myself for carrying this all this time. I know I'm doing the best I know how with my consciousness at the time. Forgiveness is a universal healer. Offering it to ourselves when we recognize we have been doing the best we know how with our consciousness at the time. And then when we claim the gifts, then we can go on and forgive others and their role in the situation. And then we can forgive God and the universe for creating a planet where one could suffer in the way we believed we were suffering. It's a beautiful practice to bring us more into the soul. That's that higher consciousness. So, recognizing when there's an unmet need, fueling the feelings, and then with that goes, am I receiving? Am I so much doing and giving that I am not even receiving all that I need? Notice all the ways that you can receive in the day. I have a saying now up on my mirror. I am in passive receptivity during proactivity. That comes from the seer Almin, because I want to be even aware more of how I'm receiving at all times. And that's bringing in more of that feminine with our masculine. May we all have a balanced feminine masculine within us. So now a practice I would encourage would be, take this anxiousness that you may have, or a fear or a feeling, and imagine a miracle is occurring. Complete magic. And that your problem while you go to sleep tonight is gone. It disappears. And you wake up in the morning, it's no longer there. Imagine that scenario as vividly as you can. Sometimes I'll hear people say, I'll just be happier. Then I say, how does that happier feel? In your happier day, what are you doing? Oh, I notice the breeze is coming in. I feel so relaxed. I'm feeling the sun on my face. Get into the feeling. We create from that feeling place. What are you feeling in your body? Really notice that. Connect with those positives. This is who you are too. It's all gone. And this miracle day, your perfect day, is there in front of you. Notice. I'm noticing what I'm feeling. It's gone. How is my day unfolding? Who shows up? Where do I go? Notice that. Feel that upliftment. That miracle day, that perfect day. If you started your day here every day, just watch what we'd create after that. And now I have a few minutes left. I will be in the chat on answering any questions on Wednesday. I did pre-record this because of a prior commitment. But I would like to also, how can you reach me? Is the links below. I offer up classes on Wizio, short ones, not classes, but sessions, consultations, shorter, quicker ones on Wizio. You'll find Patty Markham Peterson there. PattyMarkhamPeterson.com is my website, and there's places, it's being revamped right now, but there's still something there. Look for me on Facebook, Expanding Hearts. Instagram, Patty Markham Peterson. I do little videos on Instagram sometime. I offer guidance and posts there. You can connect. This is how I've met many of my clients. We're going into this beautiful full moon, this illuminated full moon. It's a perfect time this week to heal through the remnants, the residues of any anxiety we have. And notice what's coming back in front of you as you say yes to you. The equinox coming up in March, we're going into March here really soon, is going to be so powerful. Every one of us aligning with the truth of who we are, the still center, being calm, trusting. Remember, this self-trust is a key with anxiousness. And we each go there and we come together. Check out wwaglobal.com, big event happening at Tosa Blue Mountain in Ecuador. We can all join in virtually, along with some of my friends and soul family are all going to be there. I'm not there this time. I hope to get back again this next year. And we can create, as we connect with the ceremony being over the equinox, with the Kenyari and the upliftment of the planet, we can bring change. Each step, give yourself credit, give yourself compassion, keep loving you more and more. Every time an anxiousness comes in, go to the breath, wrap it around your stomach, be with you. How can I be more compassionate and loving? Connect with that inner child practice. I have that on YouTube, on Patty Peterson. Any questions? I'm here for you. I want to serve and see your upliftment and cheer you on. And thank you for being with me today. And I think we have a couple moments. I'm going to use my 8 chalice. And if you want, tune in to your each chakra, and I'll say a positive statement, and you will end up receiving a chakra balancing. I do this with my monthly free healings. I also offer those. Anybody around the world can join once a month through my website. And you get a free chakra, ascended chakra balancing, besides some other practices to gain clarity on your next step, who you are, living with greater joy and health. So come together, take a deep breath, feel into who you are, that breath of consciousness. And I wanted to put a little music going. Take that conscious breath, breathe in crystalline light to the tip of your tailbone. And with your breath, see an infinity symbol there. And have that infinity symbol clear out the front and the back of this root chakra, tip of the tailbone, traditional root chakra, all around safety. Breathe that in and imagine clearing what's not serving. As I play this, take a deep breath. I deserve because I was born. Repeat that to yourself. I deserve because I was born. Your next breath, bring it in from that sacral, from that root. Breathe that infinity into the sacral. Just bring it up under the navel. See it going side to side, anchoring, clearing, and with your intention, imagine blowing what's not needed out the front and back, and repeating, I can name my challenges, thus bringing the future into present time. I can name my challenges, thus bringing my future into present time. Next breath into the solar plexus, side to side. Deep breath in. I trust. Anchor your trust. Blow it out the front and back. Beautiful. Next breath into the heart. We have a double infinity up and down and side to side. Envision it just swirling and clearing. Send out what's not serving, front and back. Anchor, I am love. I am love. Love is. throat. Bring that infinity symbol to your throat. See it going side to side, clearing out the front, out the back. I follow a clear intention to speak the truth. Third eye. Clearing there, front and back, clarity. I listen to my guidance and inner knowing. And now breathe it up into your crown chakra, blow it out the top. I relate from my highest moral and ethical standards. How about I am undaunted by challenge? I expect miracles. There you go. Now, see that come down around under your feet, lotuses, and you're in a cocoon. Sit with that, feel your chakras. I had to go a little quickly as our time is up. Much gratitude.